So as the market's been growing, at the moment we're just under 15 million users across Europe here. We're seeing huge growth forecast in the European markets, with it set to over double in the next 5 years. So by the end of 2025, about 32 million users in the market. There's a massive impact of different providers coming in here. We're starting to factor in the growth of Microsoft and how Microsoft Teams is going to impact this market going forward. We're seeing the impact of international providers playing a more important role in Europe as well. If we look 5-6 years ago, international providers in each country were not really there. You had a few multinational service providers like AT&T and BT serving multinational markets. But now you're seeing SMB-focused international companies really targeting SMBs across multiple different territories, enabling that same service and same user experience. And we expect that's going to help drive the markets forward, especially in markets where we see the maturity is fairly low, that what we're going to see is the markets are going to have more competition coming into them, so people have to really think around how they're going to sell better. We're also seeing a massive change in the PBX vendors. Obviously, Matt was talking about the Avaya RingCentral deal, and we think that's going to have a massive kick-on in the industry over the next few years, as those resellers who are sat there going, well, we're happy with our Avaya kit, we want to sell that, we're going to continue selling PBX, and now having to go, okay, now cloud is a viable option, let's move to cloud. And we expect that's going to really drive the market forward there. I think the industry has been fairly poor at educating the channel about what the benefits of moving your voice to the cloud and your collaboration to the cloud is. So I expect now that the likes of Avaya, Mitel, when they've started really educating their channel that the cloud is actually a viable option for them, that's going to really help the growth overall in the market by educating what we're doing and educating those end customers. If we dug a little deeper and looked at different markets, where they are and what they're doing, as you can see, the UK market has been the leader here in terms of users. We haven't covered the Nordics in this, but in terms of penetration rates as well, the Nordics are much higher than this. But in the UK, we've seen a really interesting new trends coming in. The SMB has slowed down a fair bit from what we were forecasting in the last year, whereas the large enterprise has really picked up, and in the mid-market as well. As we alluded to earlier, international is playing a much larger role. If you looked at the large top 10 companies in each market, pretty much every single one across Europe is a homegrown provider who's built up their service and selling there. That's no longer the case in the UK, and you've got the likes of RingCentral moving into those top 10 providers when they've only been here for, I think, 5 years since they entered into the UK market. So international is starting to play a serious role there. If we look on the right-hand side, that map there is showing different rates of penetration in each of the markets. So although we've got the UK and the Netherlands very strong penetration, there's some of these smaller markets, like Portugal, like Switzerland, like Austria, who have been growing fairly slowly, but because of the small nature of that market, the lack of available users, the penetration in those markets is actually fairly small. The big questions we always get asked as Cavell of what market should we go into, where's the biggest opportunity, is really in Germany and France. If you're a UK company or a US company, it's UK, Germany and France. And that's where we're seeing a lot of time and investment from providers going, well, where do we go international, how do we do that? But both of those countries have been really difficult to get into. We haven't seen any providers really go into those countries from outside and really drive forward and build up a big base of customers yet. So there's a massive potential, but you've really got to work out what your strategy is going into those countries. How are you going to sell properly? What partners are you going to work with? And how are you going to change your go-to-market to fit those different countries? In terms of where the growth is and what the installed base is looking at the moment, the SMB has really been that driver for growth at the moment. So we're looking at over 3.5 million in each across Europe in the SMB, in the 0 to 9 segment and 10 to 49 segment. That's really been where we've seen the installed base of users come. If we look at this going forward, what we're seeing a lot more of is, yes, there's still a lot of a lot of users going to be added in the SMB space, but the proportion of larger enterprise and mid-market is going to increase as well as we see service providers start to move up that. So if you're sat there going, this is great, we work in that SMB market and there's been a lot of growth and there's a lot of forecast growth there, I think that's, on two sides, that's a double-edged sword. Yes, there's a lot of market to go there, but how are you going to differentiate yourself from the rest of the market? There's a huge number of providers in each market who are focused on that, and I think at some point you've got to really work out, okay, how are we going to do something different? How are we going to deliver something different so that we can be successful in there?
Hi, thank you for watching that video from the CloudCom Summit in London. This is one of the first part of a series of videos giving you a preview into some of the insights available from Cavell's research reports. For more details on our reports, please visit Cavell's website at cavellgroup.com/shop or email us at reports@cavellgroup.com to speak to an analyst. If you want to speak to me directly, connect via LinkedIn or sign up for our newsletter on our website to be notified of the next video in the series. Thank you for watching, and I hope to be working with you soon.